If you wanted something bad enough, you would work any lead at any time, anywhere. Okay? If you're afraid of going dead broke, you'll work a lead. You can't tell me you want to make more money, but you're not willing to work a lead. Hey, I'm not above calling anybody, guys. In America specifically, we have an attitudinal problem toward working leads. It's like, I don't want to do that. And I don't understand why we don't want to do that, because that's where the money is. You know, I was somewhere just the other day and I kind of had a vision of what people needed. Obviously, you guys know I travel around the country. I meet a lot of people. I listen to a lot of people. I coach a lot of different disciplines, a lot of different demographics of people around the country. And I was just somewhere probably exercising, about to speak at an event, and I started asking myself, what do I think people really need in today's world? And one of the things I think people need is the ability to go out into the marketplace with a very systematic approach and create leads and know how to explain their value, know how to follow up on opportunity, know how to close and convert deals. And so I immediately just sent a message back to my team that, hey, on Sunday night, I want to spend 2 hours just breaking down a real simple system that I developed many years ago, okay? So I was a basketball coach, and we would come into the game with a set of plays, and the plays would help us drive up the probability of winning, right? So I would study the competition. I would go back into my office and I would think, how do we beat this team? How do we beat this team? And then I would spend, hours and hours kind of cultivating what I thought was a great plan to go out and win the game. It would drive up the probability. And it consisted of what the market was doing, which was our competitors, and what we would do to combat what was going on in the market. And when we would get in games, I would kind of run through these plays step by step. And if it didn't work, I didn't keep doing it. Okay, this is a big lesson I want you to get right out of the bat, guys. If something's not working in your business, there's only so long you need to give that before you go, this is not working, okay? And we can tweak it, we can torch it, or we can use it, but we need to shift gears faster. Because we would run a play X number of times, and if it didn't work, we wouldn't continue to run the play. We would actually step back and go, okay, we need to call a different play. And then at 31 years old, I retired from athletic coaching and would spend the next 17 or 18 years coaching people. And I would kind of see the same thing over and over and over. People didn't know how to generate leads. They weren't very skilled at converting those leads. They really had no selling system whatsoever to drive up the probability of making a sale. There were parts of the selling system they just were not good at. And so I was going into these companies. They were typically, let's just say, $1 billion to $2 billion companies, banks, mortgage companies. And I quickly figured out that they didn't have a plan to get customers. They didn't have a plan to circulate. They didn't know how to explain their value. They didn't know how to follow up on a lead. They didn't know how to convert a lead. They didn't know how to engage the people after the sale. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. Like the purpose of a business is to create a customer. Right? The purpose of the business is to create a customer. And so I noticed a real deficiency really in two things that we're going to tackle tonight. Number one, I noticed a deficiency of skill. And that doesn't surprise me because people don't get any coaching. They very seldom get any training. They're not going to something to skill up. They're really got antiquated skills. They're using skills today that just don't work, right? And so that was the first problem I saw, is they didn't have the skills they needed. And we're actually going to tackle that tonight. How do you explain your value? How do you follow up and bring an opportunity to a close, which means to bring it to an end? And the second thing they didn't have, which totally shocked me, is they didn't have a system, okay? And so I'm a pretty simple person. It's like the purpose of this business that I'm coaching here is to acquire a customer, right? Customer acquisition. It's to go out and get a new client. Well, how do we get a client? Well, we need to have a series of things we do to generate leads. But what if we generate leads and we don't have the skill to convert those leads? And so I quickly noticed that the people that we were generating leads for actually didn't have very good skills. Okay, so they couldn't open a conversation, they couldn't build connection, they couldn't locate the ambition of the consumer, they couldn't bring a conversation to a close. Okay, so we had two problems that we're going to tackle tonight. Number one, they didn't have the skills, and number two, they didn't have the system. How many of you, by a show of hands, think this could be one of your main challenges, either skill or system? Raise your hand if that's you. Okay, skill or system. Okay, and I'm going to put this over here to my right so I could see it a little bit better. And tonight's going to be totally informal. Okay, I don't want it to be formal. I want it to be informal. I want it to be like I'm sitting there with you at your kitchen table. I want it to be like I'm sitting here coaching you one-to-one. Okay, I don't have a script. What I have are notes of what I think people need to do today in today's economy. Now, I've been through one recession, 08, 09, two recessions, 2019, 2020, COVID, and a third, what I would consider almost a recession right now. Some economic people think we've been in a recession over the last year or 2 years. So how many of you have been selling something for a period of time and now it's hard to sell it? Raise your hand if I'm talking to you. At some point it was working. Let me let you in on a little secret. Everything works till it don't work. Everything works till it don't work, okay? And so I've been through 3 recessions as a business coach. Okay, and I weathered in my business all 3 of those recessions, okay, because I've already made up my mind I'm going to find a way to win. You got to make up your mind like King David in the Bible. It's going to be a fight, but we're going to find a way to win. And if you don't have that fighting spirit, you will be one of the millions of businesses that are completely knocked out when you hit tough economic times, when you have forces of commoditization, when creative destruction happens, when new people come into the market. Like if you don't know how to shift quicker, and you don't know how to find a way to win, then really, to be honest with you, you don't need to be running a small business, because it's brutal, man. It's like going into the jungle every day. And if you don't have that prey drive in you, it's not going to be for you, okay? So tonight we're going to tackle skills and system. And then I wrote in my notes too, you need a prey drive. A prey drive is your instinct to pursue something, right? And people say, well, what are we pursuing? We're pursuing a lead. We're pursuing an opportunity. Listen, I was prospecting today on Sunday. I was following up with people who came to our workshop yesterday. I was sending text messages. I was sending videos. Why? Because objects at rest stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. How many of you believe that a person could see something yesterday and be totally disinterested in it today? How many of you believe that? I think you got less than 24 hours or 36 hours before they don't even know your name. Do you know that I've had people come up to me and go, Coach Burt, you changed my life and I love you, and they're crying on my shoulder. And they're telling me that this is the best thing they've ever seen. And oh my gosh. And then I try to call them afterward 2 days later and they don't answer the phone. And I'm like, hold on, bro. I thought I changed your life 2 years ago. You cried on my shoulder, for God's sakes, 2 days ago. And today you don't even want to take my phone call. So what I see a lot of people do is man, you just don't have the toughness, the emotional toughness and the prey drive that you're really going to need to do this. And that includes going 7 to 15 touches in the follow-up. That includes being relentless in your prospecting every day. That includes seeing something through to its conclusion. Doesn't mean start and quit. It means you keep pivoting until you find a way, okay? So I have some core beliefs. Obviously, if you're here, you know who I am. My name is Coach Micheal Burt. I am in my 34th year of coaching. I'll be 49 years old in a month or 2 months. I've been coaching since I was 15 years old. I started as an athletic coach. I spent from 19 to 31 really building a national championship basketball team that was an absolute powerhouse. 31 years old, I retired from that business, and I started coaching business people. My first contracts at 31 years old, this was 18 years ago, were healthcare, banks, mortgage companies, real estate companies. And guess what? They all had a problem. Guess what their problem was? They could not acquire enough customers. And they're like, man, we don't have the motivation. We don't have the prey drive. We don't have a system. We don't have any of these things. How could we bring you in and pay you to coach these people and develop these people? And those people were typically investing somewhere between $75,000 and let's call it $250,000 to pay a guy like me to come in and go into their places of business and try to help them create customers. Now, guess what? The first thing I saw, Susanna Hughes and Veronica Seitz and John Hart, they didn't prospect. They didn't call anybody. They didn't have a customer acquisition strategy. They had no plan whatsoever to get customers. I'm like, how do you get customers? And they would be like, well, referrals. I heard this a lot. Well, we get a lot of referrals. And I'm like, well, how many referrals do you get? Do you get one? They couldn't tell me. Where do your referrals come from? Okay, they couldn't tell me. What's the lifetime value of a client? They couldn't tell me. How many strategies do you use to get that phone to ring right there? They could not tell me. Now, how many of you think this is the same, a billion-dollar company has the same problem that a startup company has? How many of you believe they got the same problems? Okay, everything I'm telling you right now is the same problems that I have every day, that you have every day. Okay, and so when you hear me talk about Pray Drive, you're going to hear me tonight encourage you to have a minimum of 35 touches a day, right? A minimum. 35 outbound touches every single day, anywhere between 35 and 57. A touch is an email, a phone call. I don't even like the email touch, to be honest with you, unless you're summarizing something. It's a text message, it's a video, it's a phone call, it's an invitation to something. Anything that you do that would help you create a customer. Okay? Anything that you do that could help us create a customer. That's really what I'm talking about when I say a touch. Okay? They didn't have any of this stuff, guys. And if you're out there and you're like, well, I'm not growing my business or it's not quite working, you need to step back and rethink. It's like, hey, man, what are we doing? How many leads are we generating? And if we're generating leads and we're not converting those leads, we don't have maybe an attitudinal problem. We have a skill problem. Okay, we have a skill problem, okay? So here's some of my core beliefs. Number one, I believe everybody needs a coach in life. So thank you for showing up tonight on a Sunday night. I know you want to get better. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to get better. Some of you are new. Some of you are clients of mine. Some of you should be clients of ours because you're trying to grow and you need a coach in your life who will push you and challenge you to another level. I also believe everybody deserves a seat at a much bigger table, okay? And the big table is going to be defined tonight as a level 10 opportunity. It's highly enjoyable. It's highly profitable. It's highly meaningful. Some of you do not have a talent problem. You have a vehicle problem. Okay. And no matter how hard you work or how much time you put in, you're never going to get to your goals, your financial goals, doing it the way you're currently doing it. Okay. And some of you need to shift vehicles. You need to rethink the vehicle. You need to restructure the vehicle. So, some of you need to torch the vehicle. Okay. So it's like, some people don't have a talent problem, they have a marketing problem. Some people don't have a talent problem, they got a vehicle problem. Okay, so tonight we're really going to get into that, but I do believe everybody deserves a seat at a much bigger table, okay? And maybe you're a level 10 person, you're stuck at a level 4 opportunity, or as I wrote about in the book, you're an 8-figure person stuck in a 6-figure vehicle, or whatever you want to say, okay? Now, let's get to the story of origin of Tactical Connection, and let's get started. And I can see your comments. So tonight, if you want to make any comments, I see 75 people on here. Are we streaming out there yet? And if we're not, I'd like to stream this out on Facebook from here, if you could do that. Now, let me start by asking a question. If you were to write down right now, let's go back to the premise of Tactical Connection. I believe money follows energy. I believe money follows movement. I believe money follows circulation. Money is just energy. It's pieces of paper created by the government, exchanged between people. The people have the most energy and the most movement typically make the most money. And money never follows whining, complaining, excuses. It follows people that move because it's currency, right? It's like a current. It's moving. It's not stagnant. So if you're not generating the amount of money you want, it could be because you're not moving at the level you want. So let's go back to the story of origin. I'm 31 years old. I'm coaching a bank. The bank's doing $2.2 billion. We were in a national recession, and the COO of the bank said, I want you to help us grow the retail division of this bank. And I said, well, help me understand what you want me to do. He said, I want you to help us get 10,000 new customers in a 1-year cycle. And I go, how many customers have you gotten before? And he says, well, we've never gotten more than 6,500 in a 1-year cycle. And 4,500 of those people left out the back door. They came in, they opened an account, they left. And I go, I'll accept this responsibility and I'll go into battle and we'll see if we can do this. They gave me no training whatsoever. They gave me 2 assistants that lasted about 90 days because they couldn't go at the pace that I wanted to go at. I had 500 people in 43 locations, 43 branches, 38 cities, 43 branches, 500 people. They gave me a little office and they said, good luck. Okay, that was my assignment. 10,000 new accounts, 500 strangers. Best of luck to you. Now, I was in charge of all of the customer acquisition for this strategy. So here's the first question I ask, and I'm going to ask you tonight. How do we get customers? How do we generate leads? Now, that was a bank. If you study banks, people do banking close to where they work and close to where they live. Okay? It's typically not because the bank is that good. It's because it's on the corner, on the way home, or on the way to work, and it's convenient. Okay? So people are going to do their banking somewhere. So if I were to ask you this question tonight, what's your plan to move, circulate, create leads? What would be your number one strategy? Let's just do a diagnostic here at the beginning, and then we'll do it at the end. What would be your number one strategy to generate new opportunity? Okay, I want you to take a second right now. I want you to write this down. What would be your number one strategy to generate new leads? Okay, this is the one that works the most. This is the one that creates the most leads. What would be number one for you today? Okay, and you can post that so we can see it over here. The purpose of the business is to create a customer. Money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, okay, the more money people will pay to solve the problem. Okay, the purpose of the business is to create a customer. Okay, everybody got their number one? Raise your hand, tell me if you got your number one. Your number one strategy used to generate leads. How many leads does it generate? Does it generate 5? Does it generate 10? Does it generate 100? See, back in the beginning, Matt Kern, I figured out I really didn't have all these customer acquisition strategies. I had one strategy. And guess what that one strategy was, Tiffany Moore? To get in front of people. I had no offer. I had no invitation. I had no coaching program. I had no fancy website. I had no jet to fly around on. You know what I had? Hustle. And I would say, let me speak at anything I can. Rotary clubs, civic clubs, exchange clubs. Okay, I called it the bad chicken circuit. It's where they fed me a bunch of bad chicken, and because they didn't have a budget to pay me any money. And I would go speak for an hour, and I would coach my little heart out. And at the end, 1 to 4 people would walk up to me and go, I need your help. And it was big home builders. Okay, that was my whole customer acquisition strategy. Now, today we call that the showcase. It is where you can showcase your talents. Instead of telling people how great you are, show people how great you are. Okay? Real estate agents show houses. Okay? It's a whole lot easier to get a person to buy a house after they've walked through the house. Okay? You're trying to sell something, take them there and show it to them. A few weeks ago with our private equity fund, Pitch Equity, we did a field trip to Chattanooga, to the Bend, which is this beautiful project we were raising capital for. And it hit me one night in New Orleans. We should take people there on a field trip and show it to them, right? Well, just the fact of putting it on the schedule and talking about it, right? And talking about it on social media, we raised the capital we needed for the first part of that project. And then by the time we did the field trip, everybody had already invested. It just reaffirmed their decision to invest. I think I see Steve Miller on here. And he was one of the investors in that. And now he's going down there and he's feeling good about it. It's like, man, this is a great project. I'm glad I invested in that project. That's the showcase. If I had to cut out every strategy I had, if I had zero money, if I had no marketing money whatsoever, if I didn't have a videographer sitting here filming me right now, if we didn't have a greatness factory to drive people to, if I didn't have an $8 million building in downtown Nashville or a lodge that I would just get out and get in front of as many people as I could for free. Okay, notice that part, for free. I don't need more money, I need more people. The people have the money. Okay, so we call that the showcase. That's our number one strategy. If we cut everything else out, that's it. What I'm doing tonight for you is a showcase. I'm showing you versus telling you. Okay. And some of you got to think about it, and it's like, I had an idea. Hey, why don't we do a 2-hour training on a Sunday night? Whoever shows up, I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. Okay. What's your version of that showcase? That is a customer acquisition strategy. Okay. Now, if that's not working, let's put my basketball hat back on when I was a basketball coach. If that's not working, what is the number 2 strategy? So when you're thinking about it, when you go to the board, it's like the purpose. Let's just be real simple here. Okay. The purpose of the business, the purpose is to create a customer. This is the whole purpose of the business. I didn't say this, Peter Drucker did. Okay? And he's 100% right. Well, to create a customer, we got to create a lead. We got to create a lead, okay? So then it's like, okay, what is number 1 strategy to generate a lead? What is your number 2 strategy? What is your number 3 strategy? And what is your number 4 strategy? So for me, it was the showcase. And this is where I could show people versus tell people. And in the old days, I didn't even have an offer, John Hart. I didn't invite people to something. I didn't say, hey, step over here, sign up on a strategy call, join my coaching program. I literally just showed up, delivered value, and people would walk right up to me and say, I want to work with you. Okay. Now, this was 18 years ago. There wasn't as much commoditization. There wasn't as many options. There wasn't social media. There wasn't AI. It's old school, baby. Hand-to-hand combat. Okay? Eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly, toe to toes, people used to say. This is the way I did it. Okay? I didn't need all that stuff. All I needed was people. Now, then I started going, what could be my second strategy? If I'm going to generate leads, what could be my number 2 strategy? And I started going, okay, what if I strategically partner with people? Okay? And I got in front of their group, strategic partners. Then I'd go to a mortgage originator, and the mortgage originator would say, hey, man, I want to kind of get in front of these real estate agents, and I want to give them a good show. What if I brought you in and put you in front of these people? It'd be a value to me, be a value to you. You could get some new clients. I could retain some clients. And I go, I'm in. Okay. And then I started going, what about the strategic partner? Now, this is a second strategy. Okay. And it's like, who could I partner with? When we do Whiskey and Wisdom here at the Greatness Factory, the next one's coming up July 17th. Chuck McDowell, $150 million guy. We are partnering. He comes and gives of his time and his knowledge and his energy. I bring a whole audience of people, okay? We don't need more money. We need more people. How do we get more people to the circus? And then I started going, okay, well, we got 1 strategy, and this is our best strategy, and this is our second strategy. And then I started going, man, what's our 3rd strategy? Well, what if we had 25 people that loved us, and I called it the top 25? And what if I engaged with those people, and these people had influence? And what if those people brought me new people? Now, this would be more of a referral strategy. What if you had 25 people who were bringing you 3 referrals a year? That's 75 new people. Now, out of the people who are on here, how many of you have brought me at least 1 to 3 referrals? Or you've talked to us about to 1 to 3 people? Raise your hand, please. Okay. Suzanne, you're straggling on me. Okay. I need you to bring me 3 new people, Suzanne. Okay. If to get in that top 25, you got to bring 3 new people. Okay. That's how you get in that inner circle. Okay. So just like Weston Brown became a client. He then got us in the door to speak at Chevy. He then helped us get 5 more clients. Now we're working on a bigger deal with Chevy. Do you see how we did that? Everybody, right? Everybody see that? If we didn't do a good job for Weston Brown, he would never go back and say, we got to bring this dude in to speak at Chevy. So I want you to remember this. Laura, great referrals are where great people tell other great people how great you were. That's all a referral is. Where there's no transformation, there's nothing for me to talk about. If I got an average experience, if it don't move the needle, if you don't bring any conviction, if you don't help me at all, what do you want me to go tell people? You were average? You want me to go say, hey, it was a very average experience. Last time you guys went to an average restaurant, did you go tell 5 people? Hey, man, got a good average restaurant for you to go to. No. You go tell people like, this was amazing. This was incredible. This moved the needle. So I started going, okay, what if I had 25 people? What if I had 25 people that I could love on, engage with? They could connect me. Now, I want to broaden your scope a little bit because we're talking big table. If you watch what I do, I build relationships with influential people. Okay? And then sometimes those people will come back to me and go, we should do this. Like Chuck McDowell is like, hey, you and I and Jay Abraham should do something together. I'm really good friends with Jay Abraham, who's one of the great minds of our time. And we need a young guy like you. And I'm like, I'm in. Okay. You may see me go back to a guy like Brad Lee and say, hey, why don't we do something special down in Florida? Are you open to that? Yes. Okay. So my top 25 are influential people who, with a phone call, could open a door. So it's not just a lead, it's really an opportunity. See the difference here? Okay. And I engage with those people every day. So see, that's a third strategy. Then I started going, okay, what could we do on social media? How do we become known on social media and we drive leads this way? This is an area we could get a lot better. Okay. But people watch me on TikTok, whatever, and this could drive speaking. Okay. Now I got 4 strategies here to generate new business. I got a showcase. I got strategic partners. I got my top 25 and I got social media. Okay. And what if I said, these are my top 4 strategies to generate a new lead? What's the purpose of the business? To create a lead, to create a customer. So how many of you do not have enough strategies right now? If I'm not generating enough leads, that's problem 1. If I were coaching you one-to-one, one to small group, I would ask questions like this. How many leads are you getting every week? Well, I'm getting 5. Well, I'm getting 3. Well, I'm getting 10. Then I would ask you, is that enough leads to have enough opportunity to close enough deals for you to hit the numbers you're trying to hit? And if you go, no, it's not, then we got a strategy problem of generating leads. If you're generating enough leads, but you're not converting those leads, Steve Miller, what kind of problem do we have? We have a conversion problem. And this could be one of 2 problems. Attitude, I don't want to call these leads. That's beneath me. I don't want to work a lead. I don't want to do that. Well, then why did you spend the money to create the lead? Why did you exert the energy to create the lead if nobody's going to call them? Okay, so that's an attitude problem. Every lead to me is like a piece of gold. I could show you where I've converted a guy who bought a $9.95 book to $180,000 worth of coaching over 2 years. Why? Because I called him. Okay, I did a thing in Fayetteville, North Carolina last week because Darren Collins' employee bought a book from us. Darren Collins didn't buy a book from us. His employee bought a book from us. I called the employee. Hey, man, it's Coach Burt. I noticed you're in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Did you know I used to coach this guy in Fayetteville? No, but my boss does. Hey, connect me to your boss. That ends up converting to a $25,000 sale, to another $25,000 sale. That's at $50,000. Why? Because I picked up the phone and called somebody on a $9.95 book. So if you are not willing to do that, then you ain't tough enough for a guy like me. Okay? Because a guy like me is going to call anybody and everybody. If they indicate interest, they buy a $9.95 book, they reach out to me on Facebook. They say they're interested in something on Instagram. That's an attitude problem. Okay? Now, the second problem you could have if you're generating leads could be a skill problem. It's like you call them, but you can't get them on the phone. You call them, but you can't explain your value. You call them, but you can't make a connection. You call them, but you can't locate their ambition. You call them, but you can't convert them to something. So I want you to write down right now in the chat box, how many leads are you currently generating from the strategies that you're using? And do you have 4 primary strategies? Do you have 4? These are primary strategies. These are not secondary strategies. These are primary strategies to generate leads, okay? So let's see what we got here. Okay. Spicy post on LinkedIn. There you go. Weston say saw me on TikTok. See? Help prospects. I'm using 3 of the strategies. 10 leads a day, roughly. Jason, is that enough leads? He's got 2 strategies, so he's getting 10 leads. Susanna's got 5 to 10. Okay. So remember, let's go back to the purpose of the business. Purpose of the business is to generate a customer. We're trying to hit a B goal, which is a number. We got to generate a lead. To generate a lead, we need to use a strategy. We don't need more money. We need more people. You're going to hear me say this too. You can't, I mean, you get sick of hearing me saying it because it's like I say it and people look at me like, what's he talking about? The people have the money. Money changes hands when problems are solved. How many different ways can we get in front of people to locate their problem and explain our value and follow up and convert them? Okay, everybody see that? And if I'm using 2 strategies, Jason says I'm using 2 strategies and I'm generating 10 leads, a very easy fix of this could be I'm going to work 4 strategies to generate 20 leads. Everybody with me? Or I can get better at the 2 strategies I'm currently working. And we can all get better at these things, okay? So when I'm putting my notes down today, I'm like, all right, let's go back to the purpose of the business. I need to generate leads and I need to convert those leads. I got a product or service that solves a problem. How do I get in front of people? Okay. If you don't have 4 primary strategies and at least 2 secondary strategies, then in my opinion, you don't have enough strategies. So you don't have you were trying to diagnose where your problem is. Is it attitudinal? Is it skill? Is it I have leads that I don't want to work because that's beneath me and I wish somebody else would work these leads? And that is only because you don't want something bad enough. If you wanted something bad enough, you would work any lead at any time, anywhere. Am I right or wrong? Okay. If you're afraid of going dead broke, you'll work a lead. Okay. You're afraid of losing your car, you'll work a lead. You can't find your next dollar, you'll work a lead. And if you can't, then it don't matter to you guys. So when I see people not work leads, I'm like, you can't tell me you want to make more money, but you're not willing to work a lead. Okay. I'm not above calling anybody, guys. Okay. And so I just want you to really understand that. And I do think in America specifically, we have an attitudinal problem toward working leads. It's like, I don't want to do that. And I don't understand why we don't want to do that because that's where the money is. Okay. All right. Now, how does this tie in? So what we're doing here is we're looking at our strategies. And you'll see me map out the week like this. Okay. And you guys have seen me do this 100 times if you're one of our coaching students. And I'm going to show you why this matters to what we're talking about, because tactical connection combines 2 things. It combines the tactical side of this, which is what are the tactics I'm going to use to generate leads and convert business? And what is the connect, like how do you connect to people, right? And if you study the habits of the top 1%, one of the habits of the top 1% is connection. They got great connection skills. Okay. They got incredible, even when they text message, even when they voice text, even when they follow up. I see Tony on here who was at the lodge yesterday, you know, and I just voice texted him today and said, man, great to see you at the lodge. A guy like you ought to be making $1 million a year with your skill set. You look good. You got bigger muscles than me and you got better hair than I do. Okay. So how can I help you make $1 million a year? Because you should be making $1 million a year with the skill set you got. Now, here's the deal. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to follow up on a Sunday and say that. I don't have to do those things, but that's what I do because I'm trying to connect with people. And I think he's a high potential person. And I think he's serious about his potential. And I enjoy coaching him. Okay. So I really do have a heart to try to help him get to $1 million of personal income per year, especially when I see somebody who's very talented. So when you see it, it's not just about tactics, because I see people that are very tactical, but they got to add the connection piece to this. And that's why I call it tactical connection. Now, can you see this okay on the camera? All right. Now, this is where you currently are. And I want you to draw it up just like this, and you're going to see why this is important to what we're teaching. This is my current position. and I want you to put the current number that you're currently producing in your role. So when I'm on the phone with a person, I'm going to ask them a question. What's your annual revenue? How much money are you making? Okay, so a person came to me yesterday and she said, I'm making $165,000 a year annually in my current role, but I hate my current role. Well, how much is it worth to you to find a new role? Or do we have this conversation 10 years from today and you're still in that role? And is $165,000 all the money they can give you? And maybe it is. And if you tell me, all right, what I'd really like to be making is I'd like to be making $250,000 a year. There's only two things that's between A and B, okay? No matter where you are or where you're trying to go. Let me make it as simple as I can make it. There are only two things that are between this A and B. Who and who. And if I added a third thing, it would be action. Okay, if you're running a company, this is internally, who do you need to hit your goals? You may need 4 more salespeople. You may need a business development person. There's somebody you need over here that can move the needle. Over here are your prospects that you need, your partners that you need, okay, and the connections that you need. You need people and you need action. Okay? You need people and you need action. Now, when I'm doing this exercise every single week, so I was just sitting over at the restaurant a minute ago doing the exercise. I go, all right, this is where I'm currently at. And I have about 5 different businesses. So I go, in business A, this is where I'm at. And this is what I do not like about where I currently am in this business. Okay? And here's business B, and this is what I'm doing. It's what I like. This is what I don't like. And this is where you're frustrated over here. This is where you're unhappy. Okay? You think in your mind, if you hit these B goals, you will be happy. If I could just get to 250, if I could just have passive income that's greater than my living expenses, if I could just be doing this all day, if I could only do these things, okay? In your brain thinks if I get to the B goal, I'll be happy. Well, how are we going to get to the B goal? Brandon Thelk. We're going to get to the B goal through people and action. There's 8 billion people on planet Earth. There is no shortage of money. There is no shortage of opportunity. There is no shortage of anything. There is only a shortage of action. There is only a shortage of courage. There's only a shortage of creativity. There's only a shortage of boldness. There is no shortage of money. Can we all agree, yes or no? So when we come into the week and we go to the sewer cycle, then that's on you because there is no shortage. Okay? Maybe the way you're doing it is hard versus easy. Maybe the vehicle you've chosen is hard versus easy, but you can torch the vehicle, you can tweak the vehicle, or you can utilize the vehicle. But you don't have to just be stuck in the vehicle right there. You can go, okay, how do I do this different and better? Everything works until it don't work. You guys have heard me talking about being a championship coach. I won like 25 straight games. We're 37-3 going into the championship game. What I did worked, and it 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 worked. And then one day, I'm right in the middle of that championship game, and it did not work. Something that had worked 25 straight times did not work. It no longer worked. And I'm like, man, I got to do something different here, or I'm going to lose the biggest game of my life. So guess what I did? I walked in that locker room, Matt, and I changed my strategy. Just like this, boom. And I said to my girl basketball players, Scott Boroff, I said, look, we're going to do something that we have not done all year. We haven't practiced it. We haven't thought about it. I didn't even mention some I did 5 years ago. You guys weren't even on my team when I did this. But I want you to be open to trying it. And we went out and we changed our strategy. And within the first 2 minutes of the second half, we won the game. And I'm convinced if we wouldn't have changed our strategy, we'd have never won that championship. So when you're thinking about this, when you're doing your A to B, you start and you go, okay, I'm here. And boy, I sure don't like. Like what I like about Jason up in Knoxville is he's hungry. He wants to get better. He wants to win. He wants to get coached. So he's like, all right, this is where I'm at. There's nothing wrong with where you're at. It's just like, boy, I'd be a whole lot happier over here. What if I was making 500K? What if I was making 1 million a year? What if I had passive income? What if I had a seat at a much bigger table? What if it was easier over here? This is what I write out when I'm doing this exercise. This is easy, not hard. My passive income is greater than my living expenses. I got a seat at the big table. Okay, I'm making the easy money, not the headache money. Everybody see how I'm talking to myself? I'm telling myself these things, the self-talk. But if you don't start off here, guys, you don't have clarity. Now, where do we go from this exercise? So let's go to the next step, and then we'll get into, because this is part of tactical connection. So we do our A to B. We got our current position. We got our future goal. I want this to be a tangible number. You can put some qualitative things in there, like I'm happier, I'm healthier, I'm having fun. I'm okay with that. But I want a tangible number too. The business is doing this amount of revenue. We're operating on this profit margin. Tangible. Tell the brain, this is exactly what you're doing. Okay? Now, once you do your exercise of who and who, this could be one person, this could be 5 people. Over here's, right, your partners, your clients, your potentials. Now we go right down here and we start identifying our level 10 buckets. Okay, these are our biggest opportunities available to us. So you would see me go MBE, that's a coaching company. And I go, here's 3 things I got to do in this coaching company this week for it to hit its numbers. Then I go over here and I go, here's Pitch Equity, which is our private equity fund. Here's 3 things we got to do this week to win. Here's Blue Marlin Capital, which are data centers. Here's 3 things I got to do to win. Here's Safe Space. I'm on the board of directors. Here are 3 things we got to do to win, to get that stock to $2. Then I go over here and I go, I got the Greatness Factory. What do I got to do to rent this venue? To keep it rented. Okay, these are 5 big opportunities. Everybody see that? It could be one business, and there's 3 to 5 things that you got to do this week for that to win. Okay, these are what I call my level 10 opportunities. Now, notice that under each bucket, there's typically 1 to 3 things that you got to do this week to keep that ball moving. So when you see me do it, right? I literally just sat down at the restaurant just a minute ago, and you would see me do this every Sunday. Suzanne Kruger, you follow me? Every single Sunday, I'm going to sit down and map this out. Here's my A, here's my B, here's the buckets. What has to happen this week? And guess what I got to do this week? There's somebody I need to call. There's somebody I need to follow up with. There's some action I need to take. There's some deal we got to do. There's somebody that we got to follow up with, right? Now we're getting back into the tactical connection side of the selling system. Okay, to get to that B goal, I got to get that, man, there's somebody I got to call, there's somebody I got to follow up with, there's some action I got to take. Money follows energy. Money follows movement. When I don't know what to do, I do something. What could I do? Text message. Hey guys, I'm at the Greatness Factory today. I'm on TikTok. I'm at the Greatness Factory today. I'm doing this live training here at the Greatness Factory. I got 90 people on here on a Sunday from 5 to 7. Right? This is just an idea I had in some city I was in. Hey, I should go online and do a training for 2 hours on a Sunday night. And all you crazy folks showed up. You crazy, just as crazy as I am. Okay? So, and that's who I'm looking for. Crazy, obsessed, committed people. I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. Okay? We could have had 4 people show up. And if 4 showed up, James Forbes, I wouldn't have cared. I would have still showed up and coached. If 4 people showed up. Okay? You guys have heard me talk about me doing a workshop one night that 2 people showed up at. Okay? It was $47. One of the 2 people was a CEO of a $40 million company. And on the first break, she came up to me and she said, "You're exactly what we've been looking for." Come see me tomorrow. I went and saw her the next day. We signed a 4-year, $450,000 contract. Money follows movement, right? Last week, I was doing a thing for Regions right here at the Greatness Factory in the theater. I had no idea that one of the top guys at Athene, one of the biggest insurance company, annuity companies in the world, was sitting right over here to my left. I didn't even know who he was. After the first session, he came up to me and he said, "You're exactly what we've been looking for. We need young, vibrant, okay, dynamic. We've had not that, okay?" He's like, "We're looking for some fresh blood, coach." I'm like, "Good." See, I had no idea he was even here. So for you, this was 15 or 20 people, guys. It wasn't like there was 1,000 people there. Okay? So when you're doing your A to B, you do your A. Now let me ask you a question as a raise of hands. How many of you are doing A to B every day? Raise your hands if you're doing A to B every day. If you're not doing A to B every day, I showed up on Saturday morning to work out with my trainer, and I was 1 minute late. Okay? And he said, "How you doing, coach?" I said, "I'm good." He said, "You're about to not be doing good." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're late to my training." He said, "When your girl basketball players were late, what did they have to do?" And I said, "They had to run suicides." And he said, "That's what you're going to do. You're going to run suicides." And he made me run 5 suicides and touch every freaking cone. Okay? And he said, "I bet you're not going to be late again, are you?" And I said, "You damn right I'm not going to be late. I'm going to be 15 minutes early." Okay? Because that wasn't fun running suicides. But you know what? What am I supposed to say? I'm too good to run suicides? Although I'm paying you? Like that's a layer of accountability. I will not forget that, by the way. So what if you had to run suicides every week when you didn't do your A to B? Because you're too busy being fabulous. Okay? I do A to B every day. Okay? Every single day. Now, let me stop right here and take any questions that you have before I get into the tactical connection part. And you're like, "Are we getting into tactical connection?" All of this is tactical connection. Everything I'm teaching you is tactical connection, okay? Let's see what kind of questions that we have. Yep. Should have been televised, yeah. I did good on the first 3 suicides, then I kind of ran out of steam a little bit. Okay, what questions do you have right now? And then give me a checkup from the neck up. Keegan, how are we looking? We got good lighting? A is your current position. B is your desired outcome. This has a lot to do with the subconscious brain. If you read my book, Flip the Switch, you can get that on Amazon. Chapter 2 is the science behind what activates you. The science behind what activates you. And if you really study the brain, I get that you can ask AI. I get that you can ask them, what you need to do. How about just using the freaking brain that God gave you from time to time and working that muscle? Okay? Now, when you write it down, it programs it in the subconscious mind. And it tells the brain, this is what I want. Okay? This is what we're doing. So AI can also make you lazy because you don't want to think. Okay? When you're just asking it questions like that. So pick up the pen and paper and write out, this is where I'm at. This is what I don't like about where I'm at. And this is where I would like to go. Okay? All right, Veronica, come off of mute. Let's unmute Veronica, and
Yes.
let her ask her question to the group. And let me see if I can hear it.
My question is, well, I didn't have a question. I was just realizing that the need to align the actions to be taken to achieve the goals that I have set that I'm working in my A to B, and just the realization that that's the only way that a quantum leap is going to take place.
All right. Can mute. There you go. Now, here's what she's saying. There is a high value of your time, and there is a low value of your time. A high value of your time is the highest value of your time that moves you toward the B goal. So if Veronica says, this is my B goal, she goes from mental creation of seeing it in the mind. All things are created twice. First mentally, then physically. She goes from mental creation into physical action. She could sit around and do low value activities all day long and get to the end of the day and go, man, it was a busy day. What did you do today? Gosh, I was so busy. I was just so busy. And not do one thing to move the ball toward the B goal. Once you have clarity over the B goal, if I told you that I wanted to rent this theater, that this theater being rented is worth $840,000 a year if it's rented 3 days a week, you would tell me, figure out whatever you got to do, figure out who is booking the meetings in Nashville. Take a meeting with them, go to dinner with them, get them in here, show it to them. Like you would tell me, okay, that's clear. If I go, hey, I want to generate $840,000 over here in one of these businesses, this business right here. Okay, now I know that I'm overly optimistic. I know I see the positive of everything, but it is possible if this theater was rented 3 days a week at the current rate we're renting it, it is worth $840,000 a year of passive income. Okay, so if that's my B goal to what Veronica's saying, then what I need to do is wake up tomorrow and go, okay, here's 3 things I need. Here's 3 physical actions I need to do. Who, right? Who's my who? Who do I need to talk to? How do I get to the B goal? Finding my who and action. If there's a meeting planners group in Nashville, what I need to do is find that person and say, hey, it's on me. Come and bring your whole group to the Greatness Factory for free so you can see the Greatness Factory. That is a physical action that I could take this week. Now, how many of y'all would take that action for $840,000? Everybody on this call. Well, you guys have these things, but it's like you're thinking about it and you're thinking about it and you're thinking and stalling and you're thinking and stalling and I think about it and I think about it. And I know there's a lot of things to do in a week. So one of the things you got to do is let's define a B goal. Okay, I want you to write this down if you're taking notes. A B goal is highly profitable. It's highly enjoyable. It's highly meaningful. There's a return on my energy. There's a return on my investment. And there is a return on my objectives. So if I tell John Hart I have an objective of passive income or easy income, this is why I love Safe Space. If any of you have invested in that, I think we created almost over 100 millionaires in 1 week of people that invested in that company. Easiest money I've ever made. If I'm an investor, because I'm not having to do the work. Other people are out there doing the work. They're selling it. They're producing it, right? For those people who've invested in the data centers and you're getting those distributions, how much work you did the work to get the money, but you ain't got to do any of the work to put the data centers up. Am I right about that? That's easy money. Okay. So when you're thinking about level 10 opportunities, you ought to be thinking, what's the biggest possibility available to me that would have the biggest returns, most fulfilling return on my objective? If I'm looking for easier money versus hard money or headache money, I got to go, okay, the B goal is really this. So I go back and I go, okay, I'm at A and I'm trying to get to B and I'm sitting on really 3 big opportunities here. And it's your B goals, guy. I may say, look, this week I'm going to get serious about the Greatness Factory. I'm going to get serious about this. I'm going to get serious about this. Remember? Because these B's are coming from these level 10 opportunities here. And I'm identifying the level 10s every week. Now, what do I got to do up here? Who's my who? And what actions do I need to take? Look at how much time I'm spending mapping the week out, guys. Look at how focused I'm getting on this, okay? I'm identifying, I'm telling the brain, this is where you were going. This is what we're doing. These are the people we need to connect with this week. Now, what is the difference between a bluegill and a blue marlin? Bluegill, little fish. Blue marlin, big fish. So when I was sitting here doing my big fish for the week, I put those people on my hit list right here. And it says Athene, D.R. Horton. Okay, these are big opportunities. Blue marlins. Okay, there's a difference between bluegills and blue marlins. Blue marlins, big fish, big opportunities. They should be right at the top. Okay, this is a system. Now, if you're not doing your A to B every day and at the beginning of every week, you need to take yourself outside and run sprints. Take something away. This is an exercise. This is where the big boys and the big girls play, folks. This is where the serious people that want to make the big money play. They do not roll into the week and wing it. They do not roll into the week and go, what should I do this week? Who should I call? I'm like, who can help us hit these goals? Okay, who do I need to talk to this week? What can I do to get them to make a decision this week? How can I incentivize people to move? How can I stimulate an economy? What can I give people to go, I'm in? Okay, objects at rest, stay at rest, unless acted on by an outside force. That is Newton's law. Objects in motion, stay in motion, unless acted on by an outside force. Okay? All right, let's see if we got some questions here. D.R. Horton is the one in Alabama, is the one I'm working right now, down in Montgomery and Birmingham. Okay, because it's not enjoyable, do we dismiss the big opportunity? I mean, it's your life. Depends on how good the money is, James. You know, I mean, I'm willing to do things that I don't enjoy doing for a big payout, but wouldn't it be ideal if it'd be like, this is fun and we're making great money and I love who I'm doing it with. Like, this is the best thing ever. So notice I've said tonight, there's easier money and there's headache money. How many of you are making headache money right now? And you're like, it's good money, but sure does give me a headache. Matter of fact, I got a headache right now while I'm doing this. Okay, now, so when you think about it, it's like when you think about if you've ever made really hard money where it was real hard. What I do for a living is real hard. Speaking around the world, traveling, being in hotels, being in front of people. It ain't easy, folks, okay? And a lot of people think it's easy, and I would encourage you, go give it a shot, okay? If you think you can do it for about 7 straight days, okay? It's hard. What I have figured out, though, is that it helps me attract some of the best people in the world, and that is valuable. That is valuable, and it's very meaningful, okay? Now, can it be lucrative? Yes. A lot more lucrative than being a high school basketball coach. Okay. But I've also figured out that stock in a company that goes up and you can make $1 million or $2 million in a day is a whole lot easier than being on the road 150 days. Or I mean, it's just a much easier way to make money than it is the hard way. Okay. And maybe I'm a slow learner. It took me 48 years to figure this out. I always just was a person thought I just work harder, and working harder was always a solution. And then I met Price Pritchett. And Price Pritchett taught me to try different versus try harder. And that is how you experience a quantum leap. So some of you wake up and you're like beating your head against the wall trying to get over here. And my encouragement would be maybe you should try different. Maybe you should step back and go, okay, how do I do this differently versus the way I'm currently doing it? Like, I like teaching. This is fun to me. Showing up on a Sunday night and coaching, it's a whole lot more fun than me sitting behind a Zoom screen and just doing a Zoom. So I'm learning to do it the way I would like to do it that would make it more fun. Everybody with me? Okay. All right. Let's get into how do we get into the actual system? And we're going to break down the entire cell system. And we're going to look at it like this. Keegan, make sure we got a good shot, okay? This initiates everything. Over here we generate leads. We drive those leads in the door, and we're using X number of strategies to drive leads in the door. Remember, there's our 1, there's our 2, there's our 3, there's our 4. I like having 2 secondary strategies, which would be number 5 and number 6. These may be brand awareness. These may be things you do that don't directly generate leads, but it generates enthusiasm. What if I told you having enthusiasm just as good as having money? What if enthusiasm produces money? Doing an event produces energy, produces opportunity. Okay, I just as much have enthusiasm as I would the money, because eventually enough enthusiasm will convert to money. So I've got 4 strategies here. Those are my primaries. And I've got 2 secondary strategies. If you do not generate leads through social media, then maybe social media is a secondary strategy, not a primary strategy. Okay? I drive X number of leads in the door right here. And this is where we move to the skill portion. Okay? Now over here, I'm going to give you my 6 steps of the sale. Okay? So when I meet people or I'm on the phone with people, these are the 6, this is the process I go through when I'm working with people. Number 1, I initiate with enthusiasm. Okay? Will, it's great to talk to you, man. It's Coach Burt. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to initiate with enthusiasm. I hear somebody like, hello, 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 how's it going? This is the Greatness Factory. Okay? Enthusiasm, folks. On the other end of that phone, this is a money-generating machine, if you know how to use it. Okay? You pick up and you say, man, I'm excited to talk to you today, man. Hey, so-and-so's been telling me about you. This is exciting. I initiate with enthusiasm. Okay? Number 2, I always connect with people. And I ask a simple question when I'm connecting with people. Hey, what are you up to today? Everybody's up to something. You say, well, that sounds like an odd question. What if I told you that lowers the croc brain? Now we're just talking. Now you don't feel like I'm trying to sell you something. Hey, man, what are you up to today? Well, just dropped the kids off school. I got this going on today. All right, perfect. Okay. Then I locate the ambition. Money changes hands when problems are solved. So let me tell you how I asked that question. Man, for me to use my 34 years of experience doing this, I really got to ask you a real important question. What are you trying to do? Even billionaires are trying to do something. Everybody's trying to do something. Okay? So I go, man, what are you trying to do? For me to help you, I got to listen to what you're trying to do. And what I'm really doing there is I'm locating the problem. I initiated with enthusiasm. I connected with good energy. I've located the problem. And notice it ain't about me right here. I'm not sitting there telling them how great we are and how many years we've been in business and I'm blessed and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? They don't care. I'm talking about them. Okay? Step number 4, I explain the value. I explain the value. Okay? And the way I explain value, if in a condensed version, this is what I believe. This is what we do. These are people we've done it for. Okay? I believe everybody needs a coach. I believe a good coach can change your life. I believe those that have a coach earn 3 and 4 times. We really activate you. We activate your business. We activate your wealth. We are in the activation business. Okay? We are specialists, not generalists. Okay? We're working with people just like you. If I'm talking to a person that runs a heating and cooling company, man, I've worked with some of the top heating and cooling companies in the world. I've personally coached Norman Brown and Roscoe Brown. I've worked with this company. I've worked with this company. A lot of times they bring me in to do this. Okay? This is what we believe. This is what we do. This is who we do it for. Okay? All right. Then I'm going to invite an action. This sounds good to you? Hey, man, let's go ahead and get you started today and get you going. Okay? I'm going to invite an action. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Where there's no invitation, there's no monetization. Okay? Some of you just talk to people all day long, and you just talk to people, and you say, well, that was a good call. That was a really good call. Like, we had a great conversation. Okay? Good conversations don't pay the water bills, folks. Don't pay the light bill. Conversions pay the water bill. A conversion is, hey, could you see yourself doing this, Brandon? Hey, Bob Ritchie, is this something you could see yourself doing? What would stop us from moving forward together, man? If we could do this for you like we've done it for other people, what would keep you from moving forward with this? Could you see yourself stepping into this? Have you ever been coached before? Right? Like I'm trying to move it to a conversion. And the word convert means to take an interest and convert it to an action. I'm trying to convert, not talk. I'm an expert. You're an expert. We're not here to talk about your life and your business and just keep talking and just keep talking and just keep talking. So I say on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about this? Are you at a 3 or are you at a 7? On a scale of 1 to 10, how sick of you are getting the current results you're currently getting? Now, why would I say that? Where there's no pain, there's no change. Where there's no pain, there's no change. I'm looking for speed, tension, and friction. How fast can I get a person to commit to something? How do I remove any friction that would stop them from committing? And how do I create enough tension where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, where they're like, I'm in, because I can't help them until they commit to something, right? So I invite them to take an action. And then I actually come back and qualify their commitment. And you say, well, why do you qualify their commitment at the end? I'm going to come back and reaffirm, is this something you're really going to do? Like, are we serious here? Are we passing notes between each other? Or are we big boys and big girls playing at the big table? Right? Can I get you to commit to something, man? Because I can't help you till you commit. And once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. Okay? So can I get you to take an action today? Okay? The best time to take an action would have been yesterday. But since you didn't do it yesterday, let's go ahead and get you started today. Now, some of you are going to go, gosh, it seems awfully aggressive. Let's replace the word aggressive with conviction. I truly cannot help a person until they make a commitment to something. Okay? So if you really believe, okay, I was reading Jacob Salem's book because he brought me a copy of his book. That dude was broke, showering at a Planet Fitness. He had no car. He was dying for somebody to call him and help him. And one of Zig Ziglar's salespeople called him and said, would you like to come to this certification? I think it could change your life. And he said the woman sold him. He maxed out a credit card to go do it. Okay? Like when I'm really reading his story, he was dying for somebody to come along and say, come on, step over here so we can help you. He paid $5,000 on a credit card. And look at 10 years later or 15 years later, the dude made $15 million running a coaching business. Broke, homeless, showering at a gym, working 3 jobs. And a salesperson from Zig Ziglar called him and said, hey, man, come to this certification. It could change your life. And her conviction, he said, I'm in. Took out a credit card, went and did it. Now the dude flew down here on Saturday or Friday to see me coach on his own plane. Now, what if that salesperson wouldn't have had that conviction? So in that book, he's talking about, man, I was so thankful that somebody called me, that somebody believed in me, that somebody asked me to do something because I didn't have anything in my life. So for all of you who are afraid to ask another person to take an action, then here's what I would tell you. You do not have enough conviction in your product or service. Okay? So right here, when I'm doing the 6 steps of the sale, I'm combining that with the explanation of value, but more than anything, I've got a call to action. Hey man, can you see yourself doing this? What would stop you from doing it today? This is a conviction. Okay? Now, like I said, if you think that's too strong, let me give you the sweet tea and apple pie version. Okay? This is my Tennessee sweet tea and apple pie version. Out of everything I shared with you, what piqued your interest the most? Did everybody hear how I asked that question? Soft. Man, I really love that part about growing my business. I really love that part. Okay, good. Let's unpack that part. Now, you do realize that I can't help you with this until I get a commitment out. We could talk about this all day long. Let me create a little bit of tension here, Matt. How long have you been talking about it? How long have you been thinking about it? How long have you been praying for somebody to come along and help you? How long are you going to stay where you are? Well, see how I'm creating tension there? Raise your hand if you see where I'm creating tension. See, Jeff, where there's no tension, where there's no pain, there's no change. So it's like, oh man, I've been thinking about it for 7 years, but you're still doing the same thing today you were 7 years ago, man. Like, you're on the phone with the pro. I'm not going to listen to your excuses. Like, let's do this thing. Okay? Or we'll be having the same talk at some point in the future. So I'm really going to invite an action right here. And I'm going to know within the first 15 seconds of the phone call if I have a legitimate prospect or not, because I'm going to feel one of three ways. I'm going to feel celebrated. Hey, coach, it's so glad to talk to you, man. I've been looking for it. That's how I felt when I called James Forbes over there in North Carolina. Hey, man, I can't believe I'm talking to Coach Burt. I'm excited to talk to you, man. You bought one of my books. Okay, great. I feel celebrated. Or I'm going to feel tolerated. It's not really a good time to talk. I'm busy and I'm doing that, blah, blah, blah. This would be a life-changing phone call for you, man. But you're too busy being fabulous to take it. Or I feel rejected. Okay, like, hey, I'm not interested in this. I don't want to do this. Okay, good. I know within 15 seconds. Do I feel celebrated? Do I feel tolerated? Do I feel rejected? Okay. Are they humble? Are they hungry? Are they teachable? Are they alert? Are they curious? Are they responsive? See, if I'm texting somebody and they're not texting back and they go weeks without texting back, they're not interested. They're not interested, okay? Now, at this point right here, guys, if I think they're a yes, I make up my mind in 15 seconds when I meet them, then this is actually going to initiate a 7-touch follow-up. Okay? If they say, yes, I'm interested. I had people at the lodge this weekend say, man, I'm interested. We need to go back. We're going to talk about it as a couple. Okay, great. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them. I'm really gauging them. And I'm going, now, is this something we're really serious about doing? Are we just talking? Are we just passing notes? Okay, we're ready to get a seat at the big table. Are we just talking? See, I'm qualifying. I'm doing discovery. I'm asking hard questions, okay? Because people can lie to you. People can tell you, oh, yeah, I want to do it. I just need to go home and talk about it. No. Are we serious or are we not serious? Because I only work with serious people. Okay, I'm looking for Navy SEALs, not baby seals, okay? So if you're in, step over here. If you're out, step over here. Let's not waste each other's time here, okay? Because your time, my time is not any more important than yours. Yours is not any more important than mine. You have to be the buyer versus the seller. Everybody hear that? So many salespeople supplicate. And it's like, you're so important because you got the money. No, they're not any more important than you are. Okay, so this initiates a 7-touch follow-up right here. Now, in this follow-up, we're going to use a method. We're going to jab, 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 hook. And I wrote about this in a book called $1 Million Follow-Up. Welcome to the Big Table Podcast, hosted by me, Coach Micheal Burt. I'm here at the Greatness Factory, and this is one show for your business leaders and entrepreneurs who've already experienced success, but know deep down there's another level. There's a bigger table, and you're going to want a seat at that table. Each episode breaks down the path to greater influence, greater impact, and yes, greater income. You'll hear from top performers who've earned their seat and gained powerful strategies to activate you, activate your business, and activate your wealth. If you're ready to secure your seat at the big table, then you're in the right place. When you hear me talk about making a decision to go 7 touches in the follow-up, when did I make up my mind I was going 7 touches? Okay, in the first 15 seconds. All right, he's going to bring me back over to the camera now. All right, we're going to go that way, okay? All right. Okay, you got me? Okay, all right, we're back on the main camera now. Okay, there we go. All right, now, when did I make up my mind I'm going to go 7 touches in the follow-up? In the first 15 seconds. If I call Laura, I'm going to feel one of 3 ways when I initiate with enthusiasm. I'm going to feel celebrated, I'm going to feel tolerated or rejected. I don't like feeling rejected. So we don't need more money, we need more people. There's 8 billion people on planet Earth. If Laura does not want to work with me, then guess what? We're going to move on to the next person. Some will, some won't, so what? We're not going to chase. We're not going to supplicate. We're not going to beg her. We're not going to put ourselves in an inferior position. What we are going to do is we're going to follow up with jabs. So let me give you a real life example. We had a couple come to the lodge this weekend. Hopefully they're on here watching. They came as a showcase. So let's say we use a showcase strategy. I coached for 2 days called Person of Interest. They said they were interested. I went through this process with them in person, the 6 steps of the sale. I explained the value. I had a call to action. I told them it's going to be a $20K package or 1 year at $2,500 a month, $30K. They said they need to go home and they need to think about it, which is what a lot of people say. I need to go home and I need to think about it. I need to think about it. I need to think about it. I could say, hey, what do you need to think about, guys? You saw me coach for 2 days. You know I can help you. Like, I could be like that, but I'm not. I'm like, look, that's what you got to do. Go home and think about it. That same day, I'm going to summarize in a text message. We met. Here's what we talked about. This is how I think it can help you. Here's the link for you to take action. Okay? Everybody see that touch? That's a jab with value. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to be coaching tomorrow for 2 hours from 5 to 7. Here's a link to watch it. Okay? That's 2 touches. After I just met with them in person. I'm already at 4 touches. They saw me in person. I invited them to take an action. I've already followed up 4 times within 2 days. Then I go back again on Sunday, which is today. Hey guys, making sure you have the link for tonight if you want to step in and watch it. Here's the direct link for you to take action. Now look, you got a chance to say, I can't keep the 10 grand on the table for long. Okay? Where there's no sense of urgency, it's like I'll just do it when I want to do it. We need to create a sense of urgency here. So I need to create something here. I'm not going to decrease the price, but I can increase the value. Okay? It's like, hey man, this is like a 24-hour shot clock here. If you don't take it, it's going to be $2,500 a month. You're going to end up paying 30 grand. Why not just save yourself the 10 grand and take action? Be a decision maker. Take an action, right? Give, ask. Give, ask. Give value. Give an idea. Give an encouragement. Give a connection. Give a thought. Give. Don't just keep asking, hey, when are you going to sign up? When are you going to sign up? When are you going to sign up? See, I could go back to that couple after this and say, hey guys, missed you on the thing today. I don't think I saw you on the 5 to 7 training with me. Maybe they are here. I think they are here. Let's see. I see some people who were with us yesterday. There they are. Roan. They are on here. Roan, I'm going to ask you directly. What's keeping you from taking action? Oh, I'm looking. I'm waiting on you. I'm standing out here in front of everybody, naked. You take action on here, okay? Tell me that you're a new client, okay? So we can all celebrate with you. I got 90 people here wanting to celebrate with you, okay? So here's the deal. I'm going to give, ask. Jab, 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 hook. This is what I don't do in the follow-up, Deborah. Do you have any questions? Woke up thinking about you. Do you need anything? No. Hey, man, I can't help you till you make a decision. Once you decide, we're not going to let you fail. You commit, we commit, we're vested partners, the coach and the player. We're going to see this thing all the way through to its conclusion. Okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to see this thing through to its conclusion. Jab, 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 hook. Now, at some point, they say, I'm in. Now we have a conversion. Thank the good Lord. There we go. Boom. Now we take an action. We celebrate with them. Okay? We celebrate with them. Hey, man, here's what I tell a lot of people. When you take action, I want you to text me. I want to celebrate your decision. If I'm in person, I say, I want to look you in the eye. I want to shake your hand for committing to your bigger future. Okay? Now, at this point, this is where most people suck. Okay? Now it's like, well, it's over. Well, hey, we won. We got a new customer. No, that is the worst thing you could think and the worst thing you could do. This is actually where the magic starts. This should help them go from A to B. This is transformative. You over-deliver on what you promise. They go tell 5 other people. And guess what they do? They bring new people in the equation. Okay, so let me clean it up a little bit. We've got our lead gen. We bring them in the door. We explain the value. They say yes. They're interested. We initiate the follow-up, the $1 million follow-up. They convert. Now you have a new client, which I like to call a net promoter. You don't, and his wife were there with us because of Elijah. Elijah went and got us a new person. Okay? This should be worth 5.7 referrals. Okay, Ron just texted me and said, we're in. We'll be paying tonight or in the morning. Y'all give him a hand for taking action. Come on, Ron, give him a hand, folks. What are we waiting on? There we go. Congratulate them. Okay? They're taking action. They're making decisions, making moves. Okay? Now, we do a great job with him and his wife. He's going to send us new people. That would be referrals. When great people go tell great people how great you are and what a great job you've done. Where there's no transformation, there's no referrals. Okay? Where there's no transformation, there's no referrals. Now, I want to stop right here, and I want you to tell me, when I'm coaching a business, I'm like, the business is only breaking down in a few places, guys. It's breaking down in lead generation, conversion, or engagement after the sale. It's that simple. I don't care what business you're running. It's breaking down in lead generation, conversion of the leads, or engagement after the sale. Okay? Now, so I want you guys to tell me, as it relates to your current business, where is the business breaking down the most? Lead gen, conversion, engagement. Let's make it real simple. Okay, I'm seeing lead gen right there. Conversion, great. Engagement, conversion, lead gen. Okay, good. So you need more strategies. Look at how we're diagnosing this business, guys. I really like Hoss too. He's a smart cat. Hoss is. He was at the lodge yesterday. Conversion. Okay, good to see. So listen, when it comes to conversion, I think you got an explanation of value problem or you got a boldness problem. You don't do a good job of explaining your value, or you don't have the boldness to ask for the sale. So you're kind of a relationship builder. You need to think, man, you're an expert. You're a specialist, not a generalist. Okay, you cannot help them until they commit. Okay, and if you read the book $1 Million Follow-Up that I wrote, I go through conversions, A to B conversion, can't help you till you commit conversion. I go through all of these conversions that I say to a person to get them to take an action. But my favorite one that should be in the Hall of Fame is, man, I can't help you till you commit. Okay, once you commit, we're not in the business of letting people fail. Okay, so can I get a commitment out of you? Like, can we move forward with this? Like what would stop us from moving forward if we've helped all of these people? Okay, now, if you're saying 6 steps of the sale, initiate with enthusiasm, connect with energy, locate the ambition, explain the value, invite an action, qualify commitment. And the reason I qualify commitment at the end, Steve, is because I want to go back and say, now, come on, man, because Steve can tell me a lot of things during the talk. Steve, is this something we're going to commit to? We're going to do it tonight? If we're going to do it tonight, let's go ahead and do it, man. Let's get you going. I cannot get you into a forward position. Okay, the 7-step follow-up system is a series of touches that you have. Could be voice text, could be video, could be phone call, could be email, but I want you to get you in the mindset of I'm going to give you something. Hey, let me give you a strategy. So let me give you an example. I'm working on D.R. Horton right now, which is a national home builder, and they want to do it. The managers down here want to do it. They got to convince the people up here to spend the money. Okay? So what could I give them that would give them enough assurance to invest the money? I may call John Floyd. The largest home builder in Tennessee, who I coach for, the key decision maker. Okay, this is a guy who's worth $350 million. He made $55 million last year. He brought me in for 2 to 3 years during the recession. Let's let him tell your key decision maker why he should do this. Okay, it could be, hey, I've drawn up a whole strategy on exactly how we would help you sell more houses. This is based on the work I've done. Let me do a little white paper on it. Let me voice text you, tell you exactly what we would do. Okay. So when you're thinking about it, I'm going to give, ask. Now, when I get to touch number 7, I'm going to ask a very specific question. And the question is, have you given up on this? Have you given up on this? Like it seemed like you want to do it. Where did we go? Did I misunderstand something? Like, have you decommitted from this? Like, I'm going to ask direct questions, guys. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, I'm going to ask a very direct question. Like, what's keeping you from moving forward, man? Is it the money? Is it this? What is it? Okay. And they're going to give you something. Timing's not right. This is going on. This happened. Some of those are legitimate and some of them are not. Okay. But one of my favorite lines is, have you given up on this? Okay. All right. Now let's move to how we map out the week through the system. Okay. I would match our tactical connection system up against any selling system in the world. Okay. I don't care who it is, what sales trainer you've learned under. Most people teach you what to say when you get in front of a prospect. Nobody teaches you how to actually get prospects. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is show you how I go about like generating leads and business and people. Now let's take this and let's go into the week and let's start mapping out our week. Okay. And I want you to do this every week on Sunday. So let's start over here and we're going to put these in boxes. Let's start with our blue marlins. And I want you to highlight right now 3 big relationships that you need to be working this week to generate new business, new leads, new opportunity. And let's call them blue marlins. So I've got Athene, D.R. Horton, and then I've got a number of speaking engagements on here that I need to work. The reason the speaking engagements are so important is it puts us in front of new people, new audiences, new lead generators. Okay. Identify the 3 biggest ones you need to be working this week. Let's call those your blue marlins. Now let's come over here and let's get a general hit list. And the hit list equals new money. Anything that will lead to new money goes to the hit list. Okay. And people always ask me, where does the hit list come from? Current clients, past clients, strategic partners, or new leads. And I think Jana just posted the planner. So if you haven't used the PrayDrive planner of how I map this out, then I want you to go and download this planner, because all of this is in the planner. The A to B, the level 10s, the big opportunities, okay? So the hit list represents new money. New money. Where can I get new money this week? I could get it from current clients. Okay, let me give you an example. We do one-to-one strategy sessions, okay, with me or with Jeremy. So I'm sitting there talking to people. that are current clients. And I'm like, what you really need, it's going to be a much faster way to get there. You log down in a room for 4 hours, you walk out with a clear plan. They go, I'm in. Okay. That's talking to a new client. Okay. Our current client. Hey man, you got a team? It'd be wise if you let me coach your team to help you with this, right? Like, or speak to your team. That's a new client. That's a current client. Hey man, I know you're working with so-and-so. Will you make an introduction to me to somebody that I really want to be introduced to? Current client. Past client is, hey, for some reason you didn't renew with us. I got a new plan. I want to present this new plan to you that I think you would like even better. Right? Or any way you generate leads. All of this goes to the hit list. Okay? Everybody see that? So I typically have 5 to 10 people on my hit list every week. I got 3 Blue Marlins and 5 to 10 people on the hit list every week. Okay? Then I move from the hit list to the farm club. And the farm club are people who have indicated interest, but you have not closed. We're going 7 to 15 touches. 7 to 15 touches in the farm club. So these are people who have indicated interest, but you haven't converted them. Okay, now here's a good question right here. And when I take this question, Jana, I am now freezing over here in the theater. Okay, can you come back over and work on I need to put my long johns on. Okay, let's see here, in the middle of the summer. All right, how do you differentiate a new prospect and the hit list? Okay, this is a great question. Do not get caught up in semantics. I don't care, Jason, if this is just repetitive, telling your brain. I don't care if I put D.R. Horton over here and Athene over here, and then I go over here on my hit list and I go, okay, I really need to talk to Steve Hall at Athene, and I need to talk to Kevin at Athene, right? Like, here's Big Fish, and I don't care if they're in both categories, to be honest with you. To me, it's like just, you understand what I'm saying, Jason? It's like, it's just telling the brain, these are people I'm going after. These are people I'm going to connect with this week. So don't get caught up in the semantics. I don't care if it's on the hit list or the farm club or the red zone. It's like, hey, we're just going to get in front of people. Okay? I typically have 5 to 7 people over here at my farm club. I go, okay, who's interested? So now I got my hit list, new money. I have my farm club. These are people I got to follow up with this week. So think farm club equals follow up. Farm club equals follow up. Farm club equals follow up. Now, this one's starting to get exciting, folks, because now we're getting close to the money. If they get very close to making a buying decision, they are then in the red zone. And red zone are close. Like, right? Like Roan saw me Friday, came back Saturday, brought his wife. We had the talk. I'm interested. We're going to come back and talk about it. We're right there. We're ready to go, coach. There's 2 things I need to give them. Information on how I would move the needle, and courage, confidence. Confidence is the memory of success. The word encourage means to give courage. Discourage means to take courage away. I'm going to give them courage. Now, how many of you were interested in the idea? You probably would have made a decision within 24 to 48 hours. Then they never followed up. They just kind of sit back and waited on you to make that decision. How many of y'all have been in that situation? Okay. I was in strategic coach for many years, 3 years. I loved it. I thought it was incredibly valuable. I got out of it, and they called me, tried to get me back into it. And we had a good talk, and then I never heard from them again. Like, never. A good salesperson would call back the next day and say, hey, we had a great talk yesterday. What is keeping us from moving forward? And if I say, well, I don't like the payment terms, they may say, well, we could put it into a few payments for you. Or we have a monthly option at $2,500 a month. Now you're going to pay $30,000 instead of $25,000. And I may go, I'll take that option, $2,500 a month. But they didn't. We had a good talk, and that's it. Then it was over. Then it's like, okay, it's totally up to the consumer to make up their mind if they want to buy or not. Now, I'm not knocking them because that may be their philosophy. We only want people who really want to be in it. But I kind of tend to believe that objects that really want to do something, but be a little nervous to do it, and they need courage. What if I told you courage don't come first? Commitment comes first. First I commit, then the courage shows up, then I learn a new capability, then I have a new confidence. So if you're waiting on courage, like you're waiting on your clients to come up with courage, it's not coming. They're going to get the courage from you. You're going to encourage them. Everybody with me? Okay. So Jason talks to a person that's looking at him at State Farm or an Allstate or something else, and they really want to do it. Jason should go back to them and say, hey, man, we really want you as a client. What do we got to do to get you in these policies? And if they have a little pushback, like it's still a bit more expensive or this, just tackle it head on. I get it, man. We're more expensive because we're the best. Would you rather have the cheapest or would you rather have the best? Right? Or he just lets them kind of just do whatever they want to. And that's not the kind of school of thought that I come from. I'm kind of like, I'm going to encourage them. Like, come on, man, let's do this. Let's do this. Like you said, you wanted to do it. So the red zone, I typically like to have 3 people in my red zone at all times. Okay? And what these people need is courage and information, courage and information, courage and information. So look at how many activities I already have to do this week. I got a hit list. That's eight high value activities. I got 5 people in my farm club. That's 13. I got 3 people in my red zone. I'm at 16 things to do today. You hear me say 35 touches? It's not hard to get to 35 touches if you're working my system. Now, what if we got some new customers? It's like, hey, I call those net promoters. Okay? And I guarantee you, if you have 3 to 6 new customers, what could you do with those customers? Hey, man, thanks for being a customer. How's it going? Is it working for you? What can we do? Is there something you don't understand? How do I know she hadn't been coming? What can we do to engage with you? Now, how many of you do business with a bank and the bank ain't called you one time? How many of you do business with insurance people ain't called you one time? How many of you do business with people that never engage with you one time? It would be a high value of your time to pick up the phone and call your customers. How many of you bought a car and they never called you after you bought the car? How many of you, right? Okay, so engagement after the sale is never a wasted activity, okay? Then it's like, okay, what else do we have? Then I got a category in the selling system called connectors. What if I'm looking for 3 to 6 key connections? These are people who have influence that will connect, okay? And it's like, I need to get to that person that would introduce me to this person that would introduce me to that person, okay? Now I come over here and I got my actual top 25. These are 25 key relationships. I'm going to touch 3 of my top 25 every day. These are my feeder systems. Feeder systems. Can they see that? Okay. And everybody see that there's a set of actions I'm taking every day, right? I got my blue marlins. I got my hit list. I have my farm club I'm working. I've got my red zone, people close. I got my new customers I need to tag and touch and engage with. I got my connectors that's going to connect me. I got my big players who are introducing me to people. They're feeder systems. Okay? Then I'm going to come over here and add one more category. Okay? I'm going to add my showcase events. These are activation events. There's 3 types of activation events. Entertainment, we're going to let them have fun. Education, we're going to teach them something. Or edutainment, is we're going to teach them something and let them have fun, aka Whiskey and Wisdom. Next Whiskey and Wisdom, July 16th, here at the Greatness Factory. Chuck McDowell, $150 million dude, one of the boldest, baddest men I've ever met in my life. Like, you do not want to miss that. It's completely free. We can post the link. We got a link to post the Whiskey and Wisdom. You might as well go ahead and enroll and sign up for that tonight. It's completely free. You need to be here in person. You will really enjoy seeing a guy like him and the questions I ask and the boldness. This guy's spending $500,000 a week on Facebook ads. A week. Okay? $150 million a year. He's been sued by every major timeshare company you can imagine. They served him 1 year on Christmas Day. They sued him on Christmas Day. They wake up every day and try to knock him out of business, okay? Because they're selling timeshares and he's getting people out of timeshares. So they're at war every single day. It's just fascinating. I mean, just how tough that life. Interview him. We let people have fun. We let them mix and mingle. I bring in a country music artist. That is an edutainment showcase. And we typically do Zoom that, okay? So if you can't come for some reason, as we get closer to the date, we release it so you can watch it online. Okay, is there any wine? I don't drink whiskey myself, okay? I'm trying to, Janet, can we come up with one Moscow Mules and something for love of goodness? I don't drink whiskey, okay? But I will drink a good Moscow Mule every now and then, okay? Now, so when you're thinking about it, this is an activation event. And I'm always planning events. Tonight, this is an event. This is just an online event. Where did this come from? 2 weeks ago, I'm like, man, we should teach people how to get up and attack the day. We should teach them tactical connection. It's just an idea. So we're always planning something to invite you to in the future. So let's say we're planning that, okay? Now, let's go over here. Notice I haven't even put social media up here. Notice I haven't even put webinars up here. Notice I haven't even put paid advertising up here. These are all organic things. This is just pure hustle. It's just hustle muscle, folks. This just get up in the morning, pick up this friggin' phone right here and call people with it. Work the muscle. Steve Miller, you watching how I do this? Pure connections. Pure old fashioned. Pure hand-to-hand combat, folks. Okay? So if I'm putting all these categories together, there's a cycle to this. It's not random or sporadic. All right? It goes Blue Marlins, to the hit list, to the farm club, to the red zone, to the new client, which is net promoter. Okay, to the top 25, to the connectors, to the activation events. All right, we back? Okay. Now, so when you think about it, got me a little water break in right there. Now, when you think about it, here's what I hear people say. Who should I call? What should I say? How should I follow up? Question number 1, who should I call? Human beings. Okay? That's who you should call. That have problems. Money changes hands when problems are solved. Okay? How should I follow up? 7 to 15 touches. Jab, 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 hook. What should I do with current clients? Engage with them. Love on them. Spend time with them. Help them. Okay? What kind of events should I be doing? Fun, educational, fun and educational. With me? How should I be moving? Now, if I add up here social media, How many times should I be posting? Twice a day? 3 times a day? What if I told you that that's up to you, but would you rather engage with people or not engage with people? Like today, promoting this event tonight, I was posted on TikTok, I posted on Instagram, I posted on Facebook. I sent a message out to 550 people through my community just to drive 90 people here tonight. Look at how hard I worked to get 90 people to show up. Everybody with me? Okay, we hit the database. Look at all the actions that we did to get you to come to something to bring value to you. And all I'm really trying to show you that I can help you grow a business, show you that there's a real method that I've used for the last 17, 18 years to grow something, to make something happen, to move something. It's not random, it's not sporadic. So there's a real system here. Now, there's probably less than 5% of people who will use this whole system. Every top mortgage producer I've ever coached is using it. I got real estate agents that are 25 years old using this, doing 50 deals a year. Okay, car dealers, you should be using this system, right? Like this. Now I don't care what you're doing. Now, what if you're recruiting? You should be using it. What if you're raising capital? You should be using it. This system applies to all of these things if you're in the business of showing increase to try to get to a B goal. Okay, this is my plays like when I was a basketball coach, and I'm just working them, boom, 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 boom. And I believe money follows energy, money follows movement, money follows circulation, money never follows stagnation. Okay, and this is what I wrote about many years ago in a book called Legacy Selling. And then I did this talk for about 3,000 people at a big church in Phoenix, and they were all part of a multi-level marketing company. And they said, what do you want to call it? And I said, I'm going to call it tactical connection, because you got to add finesse and connection and pray drive to this tactical connection. Okay. Now, let's go back to this one thing, and then we'll take some questions. I'm at A, and these are the current results that I'm getting, and I don't like those results. And I want to get to B. And if I get to B, I go, these are the results that I want to get. What's in between? Action and who? Internal, external. The selling system is the set of actions you take every day that moves you toward the B goal. And then it organizes all of this so it's not chaotic. Okay? It's not chaotic. It's a set of systematic things that you do every single day to take an action. Okay? All right. Now, how many of you say this has been valuable for you tonight? Okay? For the people that, 85 of you stayed, 73 of you, the tough people stayed. Thank you for that, number one. Number two, I see a lot of our current clients on here, and I know that at night, I was telling one of our clients this. She said, I'm sorry I don't come during the day. And I said, look, I don't care when you come. You come at night, okay? I'm going to coach during the day. I'm going to coach in the morning. I'm going to coach at night. You just come as much as you can, okay? Come as much as you can, engage as much as you can. I promise you there'll be more coaching. Tonight, I let you taste the ice cream. 2 hours of me coaching, real method, real system, real results, okay? So what I want you to do is book a call, just book a strategy call with us. And I think, Jana, you could post the link. Book a strategy call with our team and say, hey, I want to get better. I want to play at a higher frequency. I want a seat at the big table. I need structure. I need a coach in my life, okay? And we can find a way to get you into something we're doing, okay? I know there's different price points. We can get you into something that can help you grow. You give me 90 days, I guarantee you'll be at a better position 90 days from today if you show up and do the work. Guaranteed. There's no way you cannot get better if you just show up. And if we had time, we'd go through testimonials and testimonials of people going, hey, I got in and this is what happened in my life. I got coached and this is what happened. I mean, when I was reading that book with Jacob Salem, man, I almost started crying. I was like, that is incredible. You know, when he's sitting there broke, sleeping in his car, doesn't have heat, and somebody from Zig Ziglar's team called him and said, hey, come to this, and he went, and it changed his whole life. I'm like, that is why we're in the coaching business, okay? And that is why I have so much conviction. But I cannot help people if you don't engage with me in some way. Okay. This is good. This is called exposure. See me on TikTok, exposure, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, exposure. What I did tonight is, I mean, how many of you have been through tactical connection before, but you got it tonight like you did, like you hadn't got it before? You learned something new tonight. Some of you are going to say, well, I've heard him talk about that before, but you ain't doing it. If you were doing it, you'd have money in the bank. Okay. So you can tell me I've heard him talk about that before, but there's a difference between hearing something and synthesizing something and deconstructing something and internalizing something and actually doing it. Okay. And if you do this, you will get increase in some area of your life. Now, I've been a part of raising. I've used this system to raise almost $29.5 million in the last 6 to 9 months. You guys realize I had never raised capital in my life until about maybe the last 9 months. Never. I raised $900,000 for this Greatness Factory. That's all the money I've ever raised. I've used this system right here to literally raise $29.5 million or be part of $29.5 million for 3 different companies in the last 9 months. Same system. Okay. So it works if you work it, but you got to get up and you got to move. People of interest have movement, circulation, action. Money follows energy. You can't see it. So it's like, why is he going to do this on a Sunday night, man? Because I'm moving. I'm circulating. I'm creating. Now I'm inviting. Step up to the pros. Get in the big leagues. Book a strategy call. Get into one of our programs. Ron's in. Okay, he's in automotive business. This is going to help them get increase. Why? He saw his buddy Elijah get in. Elijah's gotten clarity and increase. That's a referral. So when you think about it, man, we're here to help you. We're here to help you on the weekends and in the mornings and at night. That's the business we're in, is in the business of helping people. Okay, so if you hadn't booked a strategy call, I hope you've seen enough tonight to book a call and just get into something with us. Okay. All right, let's take some questions. I got about 3 minutes on here. 40 new messages. That's nice. Tony, thank you, man. We're going to do big things together. Elena, good to see you. Will there be a replay of this? I'll let Jan answer that question. Brandon Thelk, thank you. A lot of thank yous. Jason Breland's been a great client. Business is up 30% in 90 days. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Matt Kern. All right. Steve, I think I've coached these people. They're tired. I could go 4 more hours, folks. I'm just getting cranked up. Jana's got it 107 degrees in here in the theater now. Now I'm sweating. I'm hot and I'm cold and I'm sweating. Okay. All right. Let's see this one. How do I turn? Good question here. How do you turn fear into a motivator? Listen, when in doubt, I take an action. I experience fear every day, just like you do. I mean, last week I spoke in front of 5,000 to 6,000 people. If you don't think I was afraid before I got on that stage, that's after 30 years of doing this, man. I was still afraid. When I don't know what to do, I do something. I take an action, man, and that's how you overcome it. What's my strategy to follow with Blue Marlins, particularly when they don't respond or don't show interest? I mean, just because they're Blue Marlins don't mean they're going to respond. You're going to feel celebrated. You're going to feel tolerated. You're going to feel rejected. They may not like the idea that you have. They may not like the product or service. They may not like, they may not be interested. You know, I mean, I've negotiated with a lot of Blue Marlins. I always brought energy. I always brought some kind of enthusiasm. I always brought a connection. So to me, not everybody's going to be interested in what you bring or what you ask. Some people will, some won't, and so what? The Blue Marlins are operating at a very high level, so they've got a very specific interest in certain things. Okay, Will, good. Listen, it's a brutal business out there right now, guys. I don't know if we're in a recession. I don't know if we have a lot of commoditization. I don't know if we're dealing with, I mean, there's a lot of things that companies, small businesses are dealing with right now. And it is not easy. Hey, I get it. I'm right there with you every day, showing up and fighting. But this is the system I'm going to use, okay? And I'm going to get better at the system. It's never going to be a lack of focus or a lack of energy. But it ain't easy to run a small business. I mean, 33 million small businesses in the United States. I mean, 20-something million of those do less than 100 grand. You know, so it's not an easy game to be an entrepreneur. But there's a lot of risk, but there's a lot of reward. Okay, and that's what you got to know when you get in the game. Yeah. Sometimes closing leads takes longer right now. I mean, like I said, depending on what industry you're in, there's certain things that I'm doing right now that are easier than other things. It's been easy for me to raise capital for things, and I don't know why, but it has. I think it has to do with our demonstrated capacity. I think it has to do with the returns. I think it has to do with the success that our investors are having. That has not been very hard. There's other things that I'm doing that are harder to do. So it's like, okay, tweak it, torch it, use it. That's the mindset. We're not going to complain about it. We're going to tweak it. We're going to torch it. We're going to utilize it. So you just got to understand, you know, everything works until it don't work anymore. Okay. And then when it doesn't work, it's like how fast. Some things to activate my team members that struggle to activate themselves. I mean, I think if you really look at great teams, identity, this is who we are. Standards, don't lower them. You need to raise them. Language, what's the language that we're going to use? The language of winning versus the language of losing. And accountability. I'm a coach. I'm going to push people. That is in my nature to push people. That could be very uncomfortable for people, but I'm going to push as hard as I can to get a result, right? And that's who I am as a person. It's what I've been my whole life, and that's helped me win at a very high level. Okay, so you know, some people are like that. Some people don't like it. Okay, great question. But identity, standards, language, accountability. Okay, and as Chuck McDowell would say, this ain't Thanksgiving with your family. This is business. What we're trying to do here is run a business and make this business effective. This is a selling system of the business, okay? So let me close with this, guys. Our coaching is focused on activating you first. Where there's no prey drive, there's no profit, okay? So until you get activated, the business ain't gonna work. Number two, we need to work on parts of the business. Tonight you saw us work on, okay, tactical connection. That's part of activating the business. Okay, we worked on the explanation of value a little bit, not much. We worked on a kind of second part of activating the business. This is what I coach people on. And then the third part is really activating your wealth, which is giving you access and opportunities to do bigger plays, make money, invest in things. Take the money you're making from the coaching and put it into an investment that can really help you. Okay, 3 phases that we're focused on: you, the business, and your wealth. Okay, so last call. Let's do a strategy call. Congratulations to Ron and his wife for committing tonight to the program. We're excited to have you. We'd love to have every single one of you get into something with me. If you just want to talk and say, hey, man, I'm serious about doing something, which is the right program for me, book a call, book a call, book a call. If you got a team you want me to speak to, I'm open. If you're interested in doing some one-to-one private strategy, we are doing that. So that may be something that you want to look at to get in the game and accelerate the path. Guys, I do believe everybody needs a coach. I believe a good coach can change your life. And I believe everybody deserves a seat at a much bigger table, okay?